Hi and hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Wimbledon Coffee Morning presented by Lavazza. My name is Danny Jameson.
And I'm Anne-Marie Batson. And you know what? There was a really big match that happened here last night. And if you missed it, here's a brief reminder of it.
The flick of the wrist. Nadal form return.
14-15.
Oh! Kyrgios stepping into this contest now.
Well, what a rally. And this forehand here just rips it through the line.
It's very high quality tennis from both of them. Oh! He said he would. Missile launch.
Well, what a rip at that forehand.
Oh! Nadal defensively initially, and then the winner.
This forehand, and then that bit of defense. This was an amazing approach, and look at the shape of that ball.
Oh, wow. Well, if we had a return of the day, that would be a contender.
Nadal went early to it. He read it off the racket, and he just rips this one cross court.
And centre court rises to two men who've entertained us royally.
What a fantastic match that took place on centre court last night. I mean, there are so many words to describe it. The two words that come to my mind is enthralling and exhausting between Nick Kyrgios and Rafael Nadal last night.
Oh yeah, match of the tournament so far?
I'd say so.
It's very difficult to think of anything that's topped it so far, at least. I'm sure we'll be having this discussion this time next week, but it was absolutely incredible. There was pretty much everything you could possibly want. There was an underarm serve ace from Nick Kyrgios. There was a bit of aggro, a bit of needle, a bit of jawing at each other and the umpire. There was cross-court winners. There was incredible rallies. It was so entertaining. It was everything that you could possibly want.
And what I really loved about it is that the two players did walk off court together at the end, which I thought was a really good thing to do. Absolutely. And I'm sure everybody around the world watched it and enjoyed it as much as Danny and I myself. But speaking of everyone around the world, we've got one or two people who have been getting in touch with the show. We've got to give a shout out to Surveyor, who contacted us from Fiji, who's been watching the show on Facebook, which is amazing.
Beautiful part of the world, Fiji, as well. And another beautiful island, opposite end of the globe. Wanda from Puerto Rico, she was supporting Roger last night. Very happy this morning, I'm sure. So hello to both of you.
And also hello to Michelle, who is travelling down today and here tomorrow as well. So we've got to go say hello to Michelle too.
Yeah, Michelle, if you see either of us, we'll be around. Do come and say hello. We'd love to meet you. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the day's tennis. And if you want to get in touch, like these lovely people have done, use the hashtag of your choice on your social media app of choice, hashtag Wimbledon or hashtag join the story. And if you're on Facebook as well, make sure you're in our Facebook group, Wimbledon Join the Story. And if you have any stories about your relationship with tennis, your relationship with Wimbledon, any important life events that have happened in conjunction with this fortnight, maybe you've been down here, you've been watching at home, anything at all really, we'd love to hear from them.
Yeah, get in touch.
Yeah, we've seen loads of really cool ones. We've had lots in the show already. We'll try and get as many as we can on the show between now and the end of the series, I guess.
Absolutely. Speaking of stories, there were some other headlines that might have gone a little bit under the radar yesterday. Here's a reminder of what happened on day 4.
Bless you. Bless you.
Gesundheit. Happy birthday, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, 4 in a row.
Umbrellas, of course, used for the right reasons. Oh, and there you go, as in, why not team up? Meanwhile, let's just take a look at Isner. Didn't bother using the chair.
She's put her invisibility cloak on.
She's excited. And all manners of headgear to protect from the sun. He's gone hat and towel. Can't really comment, I'm wearing a hat inside the commentary box for reasons best known to myself.
There it is. He said he would.
In fact, that is the benefactor on court number 2. Some sweaty shoes as well. What's he going to leave himself with? I apologise for these, but there we are, a special memento for somebody. Somebody with no scent of smell. Do I really want this? I do, of course I do. In the long term, I do. Right now, I'm unsure.
So many cool stories on day 4. I loved at the end of that, Marcos Baghdatis calling it a career. It was his final match of his career. He retired after losing there. The woman right at the very end there, and Marcos himself, I think, both of them not quite sure whether they wanted to exchange the probably quite sweaty shoes at the end, but some nice mementos there for some of the people who were watching Marcos' final match.
Fantastic souvenir for sure. On the memory, of course, will remain in her memory forever.
As will the smell, I'd wager.
What was particularly amazing, first of all, we have to wish Marcos all the best.
Indeed.
On the next step in his journey, but there's been some top players who've been tweeting about wishing Marcos all the best into his retirement.
Yeah, pretty much across the board. He was an incredibly popular person around these parts. Roger Federer was one of many who took to social media to wish him well for his future endeavours. He said, "You are the man, Marcos. You have been so great for tennis." I have to agree with that. He's been a brilliant ambassador, so entertaining, lovely character, and yeah, very much wish you the best, Marcos, whatever he decides to do next.
So, obviously there was a lot going on yesterday.
There was. Where did you end up?
So what I did, I went and met one of the top umpires here at the tournament. Her name is Maria Cicak. I'm not going to say too much about her, except to say she's such a delight to talk to. But we've got a little something for you guys later in the show.
Can't wait, can't wait.
What did you get up to?
Well, we talked about Kyrgios Nadal being the match of the tournament so far. Unfortunately, the court was absolutely packed, so I had to make do with watching that on TV. In person, though, I think I saw my personal favourite match that I've seen with my own eyes so far. And it was actually right behind here on court number 18, which has really come out to play this last week. There's been some awesome tennis. I saw Kiki Bertens go up against Taylor Townsend. It was a cracking match. Hello to Mariana, by the way, who's watching from the Netherlands this morning. Your girl Kiki was really, really impressive.
She was brilliant, because I caught the last 20 minutes of it.
She lost the first set, but honestly, I was exhausted watching it. They were bombing from baseline to baseline, nets and drop shots and power hitting all over the show. It was really, really good to watch. And yeah, hopefully we see more of that a little bit later on.
Absolutely.
However, we may have seen the biggest surprise, the biggest shock so far.
I'd say so. And my tip for the tournament, I thought she was going to be able to defend her title, but it's not to be for Angelique Kerber from Germany. She is out of the tournament, having lost yesterday.
Yes, she lost to Lauren Davis, a lucky loser from qualifying, who I actually saw when I was down there at Roehampton last week. She took to Twitter, lots of nice photos from her victory. I was stood behind her, I think her mum and dad actually, while I was watching her first round qualifying match. And yes, they were really getting into it, really loud and vocal and getting excited, and that was really cool. So if we see them around for her third round match, that's one to watch. Now,
Absolutely.
I've had plenty of big visitors.
Yes.
A second royal to add to the collection.
We did, yes.
Yesterday, the Duchess of Sussex, no less.
Yeah, absolutely. Her Royal Highness is really, really good friends with Serena Williams.
I love that they're mates. It's so
great
cool.
stuff, isn't it? Made a surprise appearance on number 1 court.
Indeed, watching Serena, it's such a small world. It seems so weird that Serena Williams and a member of the royal family would be like best mates. But yeah, she was down watching. Lots of you guys getting in touch on social media as well. We always love that. Jas is in the queue. Oh look, number 4,769 in the queue. Got in around 6:15 a.m. So that means there's 4,768 people that got in before Jess did. So that shows how popular it is. But I really hope you get in very soon. Have a cracking day watching the tennis. If anyone else is in the queue and fancies tweeting us, do go ahead. #Wimbledon. #join the story.
Somebody else who was watching the tennis yesterday is a certain football manager, used to look after Chelsea and Man United. Jose Mourinho was in the house yesterday.
Yeah, the special one, having a look around southwest London. He was having selfies with loads of players. Saw him on the Wimbledon channel as well, doing a little touchscreen hit. You can watch that on our YouTube page, Wimbledon YouTube page. Very entertaining indeed.
Day 5 of the Championships, though, promises to be another absolute cracker. I think there's going to be some interesting partnerships in the mixed doubles later.
Loads of stuff going on today, and to take us through the very best of it, the marvellous Nick McCarville.
Happy day 5, guys.
Happy
Thank
day
you.
five.
We were saying, Danny, you didn't get our memo today to wear your whites.
I didn't
Wimbledon
check my
whites.
messages this morning. I've gone off brand. I've gone for
We've sent you many, dozens on WhatsApp.
I'm so sorry.
So excited for day 5. It's going to be, this is when we get into the meat of the tournament. You've got third round today and tomorrow, and then of course, I think the weather's going to hold. We're going to have middle Sunday off, and then it's going to be Manic Monday, all the fourth round matches. It's special. None of the other slams are quite scheduled like this, so it's a really cool schedule.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Let's start with centre court. A certain Coco Gauff taking on Polona Hercog. Thoughts on that one?
Oh my gosh, well, on rolls Coco Gauff. I actually spoke to her mom yesterday, Candy. She said they've been eating Thai food before match days, and that Coco's been eating yellow curry. That's her go-to pre-match meal, which is amazing. You know, listen, Coco Gauff swinging for the fences. She's the youngest woman into the third round tier in 28 years, since Jennifer Capriati in 1991. She's 15 years young, but Herzog's had a really good year. She's already registered 16 match wins this season. She's kind of had a renaissance in a sense because she's been around for a while. She's 28, but she's really playing confident tennis. She's brash out there. She's confident. She's got tattoos all over her. I think this is going to be a really tough test because she backed it up, that Venus win Coco did so well in the first round, but this is a tough one now against Polona.
Absolutely.
Indeed, centre court as well. That's a big stage, stage. Now, there's loads and loads of really big names, though, out here today.
Yeah, certainly. I mean,
Boom.
we have to go
These two.
here. This is, to me, this is the match of the day. If we stay on center court, Danny, this is the one to me. Simona Halep against Victoria Azarenka. You've got two former Slam champs, two former world number ones. They've met 4 times. It's 2-2. Vika's coach, Wim Fissette, he used to coach Simona. It's all setting up to be, I think it'll be a thriller. They played a couple years ago here. Simona won that one in straight sets, but actually if you look back to 2015, before Vika had little Leo, I think she's back to that kind of tennis, 2015, 2016 Vika. And that was a 3-set match, 6-4 in the third, at the U.S. Open. So that's what I expect. I expect 3 sets today, and I actually think Victoria Azarenka is going to pull off what you'd call the upset, even though it's not.
Well, I was going to ask. I've seen loads of people picking this for Azarenka to win as the upset. Is it really much of an upset?
It is only in the sense, yes, because Azarenka, in the 2 years now that she's been back having had Leo, she's only made the 4th round of a major once. And that was here 2 years ago. It was her first major back. And everyone thought that she was really going to find her way back into the top 20 within a year. She's still ranked outside the top 32. That's why she's unseeded. And that's why, Danny, it is an upset in a sense. And Simona just hasn't necessarily looked at her best, whereas Vika has looked really, really good so far.
I'm going to say he's going to go to 3 as well.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning towards Simona.
Are you? I like that.
Just because you're mates now, because you met
because
down
we
at
love flowers.
Eastbourne
We
with the
both love
flowers.
Yeah, Simona loves the Wimbledon flowers. Listen, I think it's going to be a great match on center court. I just think Vika is playing the better tennis, though. That's a good point, though. Vika just hasn't been as match tough in those big situations. We saw it against Osaka at the French Open. So yeah, Halep could escape as the winner.
Imagine there's going to be a rush on to centre court. The gates have just opened behind us. You'll be seeing lots of people filling up the hill. Now, where should we go for a bit of excitement, do we think, in the women's draw? Is there a match that really stands out, would you say?
Well, I love the matchup of Su Wei-Hsieh against
so
Karolina
excited.
Pliskova. It's the first up on number 1 court. They couldn't be more different. And actually, Pliskova asked about Su Wei in press, and she said, I've never practiced with her because she doesn't play normal tennis. And I don't think she meant it as a dig. It came across a little aggro, but it's because Su Wei just slices and dices. I mean, she almost looks like one of us out there on court, just junk balling everything, putting it all together, whereas Pliskova just hits the cover off the ball. She hits everything straightforward. That to me is such a fun, different matchup because of the differing styles. You also look at the number 3 court. You've got Elina Svitolina taking on Maria Sakaki, which I think is a great matchup just because they've both got such good baseline games. Svitolina hasn't won 3 matches in a row since March when she had an injury that's taken her out of the game. She's just trying to find her form. And Sakaki, you know those Greek fans are going to be out there on the number 3 court. You can get in with a grounds pass, and they will certainly be cheering her on.
One of the matches I'm going to keep an eye on is Martic versus Collins, because I think that's going to be a very feisty encounter between the two of them.
Yeah, well, anytime Danielle Collins is involved, there's some feistiness. She loves the fist pump, she loves the come-ons, whereas Martic is coming off that quarterfinal run at the French Open. She's looked so good. She's playing with confidence. She's a veteran. She had to leave the game. She came back. She's had great runs before. She's got a female coach in Zaneshka who's been really, I think, poignant in helping her realize her confidence. But actually, Danielle Collins brought back Betsy Nagelson. If you're a big tennis fan, you'll know that name from the 90s. She was a coach with Monica Seles, and it's been really good for us Americans to see Betsy Nagelson back. So 2 female coaches going head-to-head. But I like the American in that one. I think Danielle Collins is going to escape there.
Excellent stuff. Right, well, there's so much going on in the ladies, but first up on centre court today, though, is Kevin Anderson. And as part of Wimbledon's drive for sustainability, we sent him down to the stringing operation to find out what's going on.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Anderson. We're here at Orangi Park, and this year Wimbledon have introduced quite a few measures to help sustainability. One of them is to do with stringing, so let's go take a look. Hey Paul.
Hi Kevin.
Paul is one of the stringers. We're here in the stringing room, and this is where, thousands of rackets get strung.
Yeah, we're looking at
championship?
Probably about 5,000 rackets this year.
Which is crazy. So why don't you tell us one of the initiatives with the plastic bags?
So with the plastic bags this year, we have decided not to use them. Obviously, it's going to be better for the environment. Make that very impressive compared to the other Grand Slams. Hopefully they'll follow. Last year we did about 4,500, so that would have been great. 5,000 rackets this year, even better.
Yeah, of course. So that's 5,000 bags that are being saved. And what has been the response like? Have you heard from any players?
Yeah, the players are being very positive on it. They think it's a good idea. Obviously, environmentally, there's looking big information this year with the plastic. So yeah, good response.
Well, yeah, and I think one of the things we can hope for is not just through Wimbledon, but throughout the year. Obviously, there's 60, 70 tournaments throughout the year.
Yeah.
I think sometimes players have felt that you need the plastic bags for the performance, but I think with stringing technology these days, I think it's more sort of a habit than anything else. So
I think it can be aesthetics, certainly. Yes. Even the lead up to Wimbledon, all the grass court tournaments did not use plastic bags. So as well as the 5,000 from Wimbledon, you're looking at potentially another 2,000 leading up to it as well.
Right. Well, thanks for the great work, and thanks everybody. So helping play a small little part in saving or reducing plastics.
Yeah.
Amazing what happens over there, that stringing operation every day throughout the championships. But you know what, we've got to talk about something that's generating a lot of interest on social media.
On YouTube in particular.
In YouTube.
Everybody's interested.
The cake.
They're wondering whether this is all real.
I mean, I baked this cake this
Here
morning
we go.
for you guys. And
He's a man of many talents, isn't he? Yeah, honestly, so all of this is real. And after, literally, we go off air just before 11 o'clock.
And then I steal the cake.
Yeah,
I just take it
before
off.
11 o'clock, should probably explain. So our set is right on top of the broadcast centre. And wherever you're watching in the world, if your local TV station has sent a reporter or a crew over here and you've got a lovely view over the grounds, this is where they're all based. So we've got Sky Deutschland, we've got Fox Asia, we've got TV3 from Denmark, all up here. every single one of the crews have been eyeing up this cake, and by about 11:02 a.m. UK time, it's gone. It's been demolished.
It might be gone before the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's just absolutely...
How does it taste, sir?
It's so good.
It's a good one. Carrot cake today. We're getting a new one. So yeah, we're talking Kevin Anderson sustainability. We're recycling our cakes as well. None of this goes to waste. I promise you.
Absolutely.
We get right involved.
I should say, we are contributing to the drive and a better sustainability at the championships
eating cake.
by eating cake.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right, let's not get too sidetracked.
Yes. I do want to say the sustainability stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wimbledon, getting rid of the bags. I mean, tennis has a long way to go to be sustainable. You see all of the different plastic that is used across the tour, but I think it's a great first step. Those plastic covers on the rackets, that's huge from Wimbledon. I really well done. And also the French Open, there was a lot of green stuff happening there. You see recycling bins all over the grounds. It's really, really great.
Indeed. Right, should we get straight onto the men's
Let's do it. We've talked recycling, we've talked cake. Let's maybe talk some tennis.
We should probably talk about some actual tennis. Yeah, that's why we're here, I suppose.
Should we stay on Kando? Because he's on
Let's do
center
it.
court,
First
right?
up on center court.
I mean, for Kevin Anderson today, it's a big ask on center court. But Guido Pella, it's tough because I don't necessarily see him as a grass courter. We talked about this a little bit, I think, yesterday, is that Guido Pella took out Marin Cilic at the same stage last year, second round rather. This is today a third round, and he's playing obviously confident tennis, whereas I think Kevin Anderson's still just making his way back from that injury that set him out essentially for the entirety of the clay season. So could he have an upset there? Yes, but Kevin Anderson back onto the stage where he beat John Isner last year in that epic semifinal. Isner going out yesterday, but I do see Kevin Anderson coming through this match today.
World number one Novak Djokovic is also in play today. Obviously, he's aiming to get into week 2. He's on number 1 court today.
He certainly is. World number 1 on number 1. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought maybe that was a center court match, but listen, Herbert Hurkacz, who's his challenger today, he's a Polish kid. He's 22. He's had a slow and steady rise up the rankings. They played at the French Open a few weeks ago, and Hurkacz basically had his tail handed to him. It was like, here you go. This is a lesson in how you play Grand Slam tennis, provided by the Masterclass himself, Novak Djokovic. I think Hurkacz learned a lot from that match, and I think maybe today he could give Novak a little more of a challenge.
Well, I was talking to my friend Andy yesterday, and he did
Andy
say,
Murray?
no, unfortunately, if only it was a different Andy this time. But he reckoned that Hurkacz might have a chance of maybe not beating him, but at least give him a real good game.
I was talking that up at the French Open. Didn't happen. But I would maybe give him a set or two. And listen, sometimes Djokovic, we've seen it in the past at the Masters 1000s on the ATP. Sometimes he can come out a little bit flat. Just maybe Hurkacz, you'd give him a chance today. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about your pick of the day, please.
You guys, I'm so excited for this. You've got Felix Auger-Aliassime, who's the young Canadian, and actually Ugo Humbert. My French is terrible, but that was my best effort. He was on the number 1 court last night against Andy Murray in the doubles. He lost that. But these are the 2 youngest players left in the men's draw. You've got Humbert, who's 21, and you've got Felix, who's still just 18. Felix is the favorite in this one. He's the seeded player, but both these guys in their first Wimbledon trying to reach the 4th round, which is incredible. I think we're going to see a lot of shot making. Humbert, he's 21. He looks like he's about 13 in the face. I don't know if you guys have seen him before, but he's really had a good rise up the rankings. He's got the French Tennis Federation with him, who's been working with him. Meanwhile, Felix has done such good work with Tennis Canada. I really do think, when we look at the next generation of men's tennis, we could have a little preview today of what's to come.
Now, I've been listening to you intently all week, so my eye was obviously drawn to court 12.
Yes.
And the first matchup, Riley Opelka against Milos Raonic. Now, is there going to be a single serve returned in this? Because they're both big lads.
Yeah, maybe a couple, right? I think we could have 4 tie-break sets. And then, is this the first match that is going to use the new Wimbledon rule at 12-12 in the deciding set? Could we have a tie-break? I think we really could. Someone was saying, why don't we just fast forward to 12-12 and just play one long tie-break? Listen, Milos Raonic, he's come back. Actually, at the very beginning of the year, I picked him to win Wimbledon. That was before he had all of his injury troubles. He hasn't been as consistent this year. But Riley Opelka, coming off that, I just had a little bit of cake that I realized was right there and just enjoying it throughout the show.
I thought you could save that for later.
Riley Opelka coming off that big win over Stan Wawrinka. Listen, I know that sometimes people say, the big serves are so boring. watch the defense, watch the way Opelka's going to try to get into net, watch Raonic trying to change things up, maybe trying to intimidate Opelka a little bit. These guys, 6'7", 6'11", they're huge, both of them. We're going to have big serves. We might have a couple of service returns, and we might have look for someone to get a break, but then back that up. And really, I think we could be in for a great match, for sure.
He sold it for me.
Absolutely. Now, if we're in search of a bit of excitement, I mentioned him on after day one, was Thomas Fabiano, who's having a fantastic Wimbledon. He's up against Fernando Verdasco today.
This is why we love tennis. Thomas Fabiano is 30 years young, and he's having the breakout tournament of his career. He's ranked 89th in the world. He upset Stefanos Tsitsipas in the first round. No one, not any of you, trust me, would have picked Thomas Fabiano to make it into the third round, but he's there, and he gives himself the opportunity today to come through that match against Fernando Verdasco, who himself took out Kyle Edmund. So both of them seeing that, trying to seize that opportunity to get into the fourth round. But let's just go for the little guy. He's about, I think Thomas Fabiano is about this tall.
Right.
Seriously. Against Fernando Verdasco, who's got the big biceps and the lefty forehand and that Spanish sort of bravado that he walks around the court with. But Fabiano, it's been a great story for sure.
Okay, very briefly, we're just going to touch on any other business, of course. On Twitter, so for some eagle-eyed fans, they might have thought Bjorn Borg had turned back time, but of course it was his son that was on court yesterday, Leo Borg, which just makes me feel really old.
Yeah, they are spitting image as well.
Yes.
Yeah, they certainly are. And Leo Borg, who's been training around Europe, he got a wild card into the junior event, which I believe starts soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. But really cool that, of course, Leo Borg is here, and he's quite the tennis talent. He hasn't played that many events, but from what I've heard, he's a very talented young player, and his name just happens to be Borg.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to? Did he lose?
He did lose, unfortunately.
Hopefully we'll get to see. Well,
he lost already. No, did the juniors start?
It was qualifying.
Oh, qualifying. Thank you. Hannah's correcting me. Junior qualifying. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Well, good try, Leo. We'll see you next
year. Next year we'll have a Borg back on court.
Oh, dear.
Oh, too good.
That's funny.
So,
sorry, I've suddenly my ear's gone a little bit quiet there.
That's all right.
You do this next bit
no,
for me.
It's very busy. Don't worry. Listen, Nick, thank you so much for your expertise.
I'm just going to go off and eat cake.
Go and eat a cake.
I'm going to take this whole thing. I'm not sharing.
Yes, but thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Nick. Thank you for coming to join us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Of course.
Indeed.
Now,
absolutely.
Our friends over in Australia with very long memories may recall that it's 50 years to the day since Rod Laver won his last Wimbledon title, and in a quiet moment, he took a tour of the grounds.
Hi, Stanley.
How are you? Match, so
we second match.
Get ready.
Yeah.
I normally don't like to have photos with guys that beat me so badly, but this is an exception.
But yours it wasn't badly.
It was pretty close.
Yeah. Hi there.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
See you too.
Beautiful day.
Hello.
Hi there. Hi. How are you? This isn't quite the same as when we were here.
Yes, I can imagine.
But they've always made the garden so pretty. The walkways and everything. Look at the roof. This is amazing. Actually, it's pretty nice to be able to see it on a day when it's not busy. See the world with a tennis racket. That's what it was like back in our era. Let's look at this thing.
How's it look?
Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, Henman Hill. And you get your Pims over there, of course.
Great.
I hadn't seen it. I mean, that's an enormous screen. Are you ready?
Yes.
You ready for this?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Very well.
Where's Susan?
Hi, how are
That's
you?
Susan.
Great to
This
see
is
you.
Susan.
Nice to meet you. Right.
Novak?
Nice
Yeah.
to see you.
Yeah,
Looking
you too.
Great. Sharp.
Yeah, no, I feel good.
Are you getting a racket in your hand maybe this few weeks?
No, where is my racket?
It's somewhere.
No. Oh, there he's got it.
Oh. Oh, that's nice. Oh, wow.
That's it.
That's a beauty. That's a beauty.
I know.
Yeah. I tried playing with the modern style tennis with the wooden racket. It doesn't work.
What are you guys doing here?
Rod is checking up on me. I'm getting a bit sick of him following me around, checking up on me, making sure I'm looking after the young guys.
Excuse me, who are you?
Exactly. Don't you know who I used to be?
You coaching with this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Roger.
Hey, Rocket, what's happening?
How are you?
Good to see you.
How are you? Yeah,
already
I'm
here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you here for the 2 weeks?
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, Lee, look at you.
How mate?
How are you?
You going all right?
Yeah.
Good. Good to see you. Huh?
Yeah.
When did you get in?
Yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too far though.
No, it's not too.
Not as bad as Australia.
Not too difficult.
No.
Yeah, it was actually because we came in a private plane.
Oh, nice. Easy.
Yeah.
Eh?
Oh
That's
shit!
the life.
You just.
Eh? That's the life.
Yeah, you got to get to know people.
Rod Laver, what an absolute legend. It was awesome to have him back at SW19. Looked like he really enjoyed it, and that was on one of the days just before the tournament started, so pretty much everybody was down practicing, and I think every single Australian player in particular who was out practicing made sure they found him and had a picture with him, and yeah, he looked like he really enjoyed it.
Absolutely, and also what is amazing about Rod Laver, he's the only man to achieve the calendar Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic came very, very close.
Only man to ever do it.
Only man to ever do it. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. Speaking of amazing things, I had the opportunity to meet one of the most important umpires in tennis. Her name is Maria Cicak, and what is even brilliant about her, she's a fantastic talker, but she has her own legion of fans known as Chicacholics, and this is what she had to say.
Please welcome today's chair umpire, Maria Cicak.
Yes, I've done a few Grand Slam finals, but I mean, I'll still wake up in the morning and do the same job just because I love it. That's what I do, and yeah, I enjoy it.
Hello Maria, thanks for talking to us, because we know you're an extremely busy person. You're one of the most important umpires of the championship. How did you start your journey?
Well, my journey at the championship started on Monday, but my journey as an official started a long, long time ago. I pretty much started as a line umpire or a chair umpire on a lower level, nationals, and then, yeah, with time probably, I don't know, you just kind of keep on going and you keep on going up.
Now, you umpired the second longest tennis match in history, which I was watching actually last year, and I was watching, I was thinking, I did have it on. I was doing other stuff in the background, to be fair, but I had it on. I was looking at you thinking, are you going to get to go for a break? Which clearly you couldn't, because it was a 6-hour match. Can I ask you firstly, what was that like to umpire, and how hard was it to umpire as well?
Well, I mean, yes, it's a little bit a longer match, but for us every match is possible to go long, so you don't really know what you're going to get. And yeah, I mean, I always have the same routine, the same preparation routine for every match. So to me, there was no difference from the beginning of the match. Yes, it's tough to keep on being focused through all those hours, but I mean, once you learn how to refocus, then it gets a little bit easier.
How good does your eyesight have to be though when it comes to those very, very close line calls?
Well, the better it is, the better for an umpire is, I would say. But we all strive for perfection, I would say, and we all want to be as precise as possible. I don't know, I mean, if you want to check my eyesight, go and check with a Hawkeye. They'll tell you pretty precise, I would say.
Okay, so a quick masterclass while we're here in this glorious sunshine in SW19 for sure. If I was a line judge, what would I be looking for on the court?
Well, on the court you have few lines. Let's say you have 3 positions on long lines, and then you have 3 positions on the cross lines as well. So let's take this long line as an example. When line is approaching, when the ball is approaching the line, then you look pretty much where it's gonna fall. If you see it out, you call it out. If you see it in, you just show a safe signal. Simple, no?
I love all the hand signals as well. I find that fascinating. I guess you have to love tennis as well to be able to get to that level like yourself.
Yeah, I would say that there is no way you can do this unless you love tennis as a game, as a sport, as a life.
I can't believe an umpire has her own legion of fans and a Twitter account dedicated to her in her fashion. Adam Hunt from Wimbledon Channel has joined us.
I love the umpire chatter, because there's another umpire. The Cicak one is interesting as well. A lot of male admirers, I think, for her. Also, the other one to look out for a slightly different reason, is Caden Nuni.
Yeah,
he's the
Caden
Barry
Nuni.
White of tennis.
Yeah.
He's got a really
voice.
deep voice. I think it was maybe last year or the year before. He was a big thing on social media.
Love
I don't think he's got his own.
15.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. You
brilliant.
can hear him before you see him. It's great. And he's got a lovely voice.
It's one of the best things about tennis, just the weird and wonderful social media accounts that get set up, right?
The thing about him as well is, if I was playing, I'd be more concerned about what he was saying rather than my match. He's a lovely guy as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I was talking to social media. Loads of people getting in touch about that Rod Laver piece.
What a legend.
Lorraine on Facebook saying she's a proud Queenslander for seeing her beloved Rod Laver. Honestly, he seemed absolutely lovely. We didn't get to bump into him, but I mean, he was literally everybody who was anyone was stopping and taking photos and making sure.
I was
they
lucky
stood
to
sign.
meet him a couple of years ago in Rolex Suite. He was here with Jack Nicklaus, so that was a
wow.
A few major titles between those two. I think those trophy cabinets have not got much space left in them. So yeah, it was an opportunity with Jack Nicklaus and Rod Laver, two of the the greatest champions in both golf and tennis. So it was good to meet them.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Right, so should we chat about a bit of social media, see what's going on?
Busy day yesterday on
It
social,
was a
wasn't
very busy day yesterday.
We talked about some royal visitors.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure they're quite royal, but probably the next best thing in British celebrity culture. But we had a Beckham down. We had Romeo Beckham was touring the grounds.
We did. We saw him on centre court as well. He was watching on, particularly enjoying that Kyrgios-Nadal match. And I think that the Beckham, I think it's Cruz that is that they all play tennis. They're big tennis fans. There's been a few years in a row we've seen David and the family at Queen's. I think they're members at the Queen's Club, so they play there. And Cruz, I think, he's one to watch for the future. I think he's better at tennis than he is at football, which perhaps doesn't quite follow, but he's a keen tennis player. So you often see them here at Wimbledon.
Imagine that, we have a Beckham child and one of the royal babies. Imagine that. That would be fun, wouldn't
And
it?
then Leo Borg as well.
And Leo
Oh
Borg.
my goodness.
He'll be an old
All
man
the
by that point. But yeah, Romeo Beckham, absolutely lovely stuff. We'll stick with football.
Yes.
Because the special one, we mentioned him already. Jose Mourinho is down here. We saw him with Rafael Nadal and Fabio Fognini as well.
And Nick McCarville.
And Nick McCarville, yes.
On the Wimbledon channel. Always good to see Jose. He loves his tennis. He's often, watching tournaments throughout the year. He's a big fan of Federer and Nadal. It was interesting in that interview that he did with Nick, actually, speaking about the crossover between tennis and football and the mentality. Some of the things that he says to his players in dressing rooms comes from individual sports like tennis and golf, really being focused on your craft, even though you're part of an 11-man team, focusing on what you've got to do on the pitch on any given game. So it was good to see him.
And he's a huge, I was going to say, Jose's a huge Andy Murray fan as well. He's always been really supportive of Andy Murray.
Listen, he's out of work at the moment.
Yeah.
No managerial job. If anyone's looking for a coach, they
Nick
could probably do a
Kyrgios.
lot worse, couldn't they?
A bit left field, but yeah,
why not?
It would work.
I think we've seen like Clive Woodward in football. Why not?
Maybe that's what Nick Kyrgios needs.
Yes.
He needs the special one.
Never mind Marvel's Avengers. That would be the most ambitious crossover event in history, wouldn't it?
Brilliant.
Now listen, the Wimbledon Join the Story page has been aflame this week with awesome stuff. And Albert Dean shared this picture of his all year round Wimbledon display in his little hobby shed. It's awesome. I wish I was there now.
Man cave.
Oh yes.
Love a man cave.
I love the old wooden rackets as well.
Yes. He's got some good memorabilia in there. The Wimbledon rackets. That little mug that's hung
pennant
on the
as
wall
well, Bjorn Borg, sweatband as well. Hopefully that's been washed.
Hopefully. That's the thing as well. The Wimbledon shop, well worth a visit. Picking up these kind of things that in many years will be souvenirs that you can remember your special day at Wimbledon.
Yeah, Albert, thank you so much for sharing that. You mentioned the shop. The museum down here is also well worth a visit. I mean, that's just over by the gates. It's open throughout while the tennis is on?
Yeah, not too far from where we're standing, actually, on the other side of court 17, sort of between the walkways between centre and court number 1. We do a feature on it every year, sometimes 2 or 3 features on it every year, because there's just so much tennis history. The thing I like seeing is they'll have some players' shoes and rackets and clothing. I think they've got Ivo Karlovic's shoe in there, which is about
enormous.
2 of mine. So it's always one of those things, you go in there not really expecting what to find, and then you're always fascinated by what you can see.
Yeah, I mean, they're on Twitter as well, they're worth a follow. On this day, by the way, 1974, Chris Evert won the first of her 3 ladies singles titles. They tweeted about it. And how about this? This is one of the exhibits in the museum. Lovely little pin badge printed, Chris is number 1. Yeah, lovely stuff. Loads of things like that.
And Chris still involved. You see her. She works for
downstairs
ESPN.
earlier.
So you see her. A special day for her, and I'm sure she'll be remembering one of the the best days in her career.
Yeah, honestly, don't walk around with your nose in your phone checking your messages. You don't know who you'll end up bumping into.
Now, can I say about this one? Because
do.
I'm particularly excited because she's one of my favourite comedians on the planet.
Yes.
Miranda Hart. And she's a huge tennis fan, of course, always tweeting about the matches. If you don't follow Miranda Hart during the tennis season, please do. She comes up with some absolute crackers. But she was talking about Serena, Murray and Kyrgios.
I think she said she needed 3 heads
she did,
to pay attention to it all, which was, I think, how a lot of us were feeling later on yesterday for various different reasons.
Yes.
But it was one of those matches that captured the attention of the nation. I think Boris Becker said, on BBC, he was saying that it was one of the most enthralling matches he'd ever commentated on. And we're talking about a second round match, not a final or a semi-final. And I think that's what it was like. It was so intriguing.
I just love the fact Miranda says she'd like to sit down with Kyrgios and have a cup of tea. How British.
I'm or a pint of beer, depending on his recent activities. I think he'd rather have a beer with you.
I love how he spotted one of the journalists in his press conference as well. Was actually
that was
at
great.
that
There were some good lines there.
It was very entertaining. And I'd love to see Miranda Hart do a bit of commentary as well. We should maybe
funny.
have a word with the powers that be. That would be very amusing.
Brilliant.
Loads of good stuff on Instagram as well. This one came in from James out on the hill with a lovely glass of Prosecco. That's the way to enjoy the sun, is it not?
Yes, cool down when it's warm. I think it's going to be even hotter today than it was yesterday. Yesterday was a bit of a scorcher. In fact, the weather forecast for the tournament has improved steadily. They were saying there might be a little bit of rain next week. Now that's gone away from the forecast. Production team just out of shot here holding an umbrella to keep themselves cool.
That hot,
You've
guys.
seen a lot of
It's
umbrellas around, but not for the rain. It's just to keep you cool. So drink plenty of water. Some Pimm's, some champagne is allowed. I'm making the rules up on this one.
Sunscreen.
Yes, sunscreen and water. Drink plenty of it, and you'll enjoy your day here at Wimbledon.
Indeed, and we love animals on the show, don't we? And we mentioned the sniffer dogs that are around, but how about this? D.Dog88. That's worth a follow.
Cutie.
Absolutely. This is what is it? A cockapoo, I think. I'm not sure. I'm
thinking Labrador.
Bad with
Labrador
dog breeds. It is a cockapoo, wanting to be a ball boy with a lovely hat on, and managed to find a tennis ball, which our sniffer dog yesterday couldn't find.
Yes.
We had Jo Conter on the Wimbledon channel, and her dog Bono has got its own social media account.
Of course.
So you can go and follow her on Instagram. We asked her actually, does she ever come into the grounds? Unfortunately, not allowed, but she does watch all of her matches. So.
Fantastic stuff. And look, let's round it off with another one from the Facebook group. Claire Budden sharing a lovely photograph. My heart is full of love. I'm back home.
Oh, fantastic.
That's how it feels for a lot of people who've maybe not been for a little while. It never changes. You come back and you feel like he's putting on lovely old pair of slippers.
Yes, exactly.
Great place to be.
The All England Club always strike that perfect balance between keeping all of the history and the things that people want to see year after year after year, but then also adding a few new elements each year that make you sit up and pay attention.
Adam, thanks for popping by to see us.
Indeed, you're off to go and host on the Wimbledon channel. We
Have
can
a
watch
good day.
it on YouTube, wimbledon.com, and on the app. Anything exciting? What are we looking forward to today?
Well, some good matches. I think Court 1 is the day in terms of the men's matches. Novak Djokovic and Felix Auger-Aliassime, really exciting youngster, just 19 years of age. They're on Court 1. And then Halep Azarenka on centre. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. Not actually played too many times for saying how long both of them have been out on tour. So it'd be interesting to see who gets the better of the match there.
All right, have a good day. Thanks for
have a
joining us.
good
And
one.
we will see you tomorrow, of course. And we will see you guys tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. We're off to demolish this cake before any of the camera people
start
up here. Adam's straight in there. It is
It wasn't
real.
just a bit in the nick.
Listen, you can follow all of the action on the Wimbledon channel, on YouTube, on .com, and on the app. It all kicks off at 11 o'clock. We're off to have a bit of cake, and we'll see you at exactly the same time tomorrow.
See you later.